Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the MACE podcast. I'm your host, Marco Macente, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is a special episode as I'm inviting and getting together again with a friend, with an author, with a mentor coming from actually all over the world, Diana Brandl. Diana is an international keynote speaker. She's a trainer and she spends her time teaching admin professionals to be strategic business partners when working with managers and leaders across companies and organizations. She has more than 15 years of experience as admin professional, and now she runs her own business, delivering training sessions and programs for multinational companies to educate and train admin and staff members to work strategically and effectively in hybrid working environments. She published different articles in Germany and abroad, focusing on leadership, personal branding, technology, communication, digital skills, themes that, of course, we covered in our former episode that you can find in the MACE podcast library. Yes, you're understanding this rightly. We met already last year to record one episode that is available in the MACE podcast library. And now we're meeting again because she came to Italy in summer this year and we needed to get together. We are covering a lot of topics to catch up on what we left, the trends of 2024. Has something changed from an admin point of view? Which are the trends that we have been seeing in 2024? And what is 2025 be all about for admin professionals? How can we work effectively with the millennium managers, and which is the role that the technology and the AI is playing in the new workplace? Please enjoy our conversation and stay tuned. Ciao, Diana. Good morning. Welcome to the MACE podcast. How are you?
I'm good, ciao Marco. It's been way too long that I haven't seen you, although it was just a few weeks ago, but I miss you already. So good to see you here on the podcast.
I'm so excited to have you again, Diana. Welcome to the MACE podcast. I am so honored to have you as a guest again. We had an amazing time in June in Italy. We had an amazing post which reached a lot of views. So I'm very proud of what we did, of the talk that we had. Very nice catch up. And of course, we promised each other that we needed to catch up also on the MACE podcast because we have a lot to say about what's going on in the workplace and also in the business world. So let's say that the future is now and the future is also with us today in the MACE podcast. I love your headline.
Yes.
With keep.
Perfect for us, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So first of all, I wanted to ask you that, of course, you were in Italy, we were able to catch up. How is it going and what brought you in Italy, Diana?
Well, as you know, I'm a digital nomad and I've been on the road together with my husband for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And from the moment on we started this, we went to Italy because we wanted to explore the country's beauty. And, we haven't been much in Italy all these years before because my parents, they always took us to Spain on vacation. So I never really made it to Italy. So this was really a blind spot for us. And we really wanted to see the country. And we didn't know that we're going to fall in love with Italy right away. So we have seen a lot. And this is why we came back and came back and came back. And once again, the Milano region brought me to you as well.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to see you with a nice aperitivo.
Yes.
We enjoyed. And there's still so much to discover, obviously, in Italy. But I'm glad that I was able to spend almost 3 months in Italy.
Yeah.
Not only in the Milano area, but also the Bologna area and Pisa and Firenze. So I was very grateful to explore so many different locations and met people from my network just like you. So it was a true blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So thanks a lot for sharing what your journey is all about. And a piece of your journey also brought you to Italy. So thanks a lot for sharing. In our last catch up, of course, we spoke about the episode that we made last year. And of course, the audience is able to find the episode in the podcast library. And we spoke about the admin profession, the trends and the challenges when working with the millennium managers, with AI, artificial intelligence, and the new technologies that impact the daily work that professionals do all around the world. What are you seeing in 2024 compared to 2023, Diana? Any new trend or any new challenge you would like to share with the audience?
I think everyone will agree to that we haven't seen such a fast pace with AI. We didn't expect this happen. We knew it was there because I've been talking about AI in my presentations since 2016, sorry. So I remember when I brought the first topic in my speeches and I was talking about Siri and Alexa and all these things happening,
Yeah.
the people were looking at me like, what is she talking about? This will never happen. And now we have exactly these digital assistants. They are called now Copilot and they're called ChatGPT. So, it is all there and we can use it. But I think everyone was a little bit overwhelmed by the speeds that this came into our workplace. And honestly, I'm right now in a phase where I'm a little bit scared. I'm super, super thrilled about the opportunities we see, but there's a lot of things I see that I don't like to see happening. And I think this is also happening in the workplace that a lot of people are so excited to get AI training. And luckily, we do see more AI trainings out there that we haven't seen all these years back. So this is a huge challenge, not only for assistants out there, but learning how to prompt. These are new skills you need to develop. So right now, it's really opening new areas of job profiles when you do know how to prompt and how to use AI for your day-to-day work. Not every company for sure is going to install Copilot from Microsoft because it's quite expensive, I would say. Not
Yeah.
every company is ready in terms of the data security. But I think there's no way of returning not to use AI, not only for our profession, but for many other professions. So this
Yeah.
is, of course, something that just, blew our mind away with the speed that came in. So once again, focusing on technology, specifically AI and everything around it. But I definitely want to, throw in, don't forget the ethics. Don't forget talking about values. Don't forget talking about regulation when it
Yeah.
comes to AI. So don't forget to switch on your brain.
Yeah.
That's good to have a little helper here and a little helper there, but stay creative, people. I think that's very, very important that we need to remind ourselves.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So let's say that we can take two takeaways from this new trend that we see. First of all, we need to keep the balance when using such a kind of tools because polarization and having
Mhm.
AI polarized from two different extremes. This never helps. So it is important that we keep the balance and we use these tools with common sense. On the other side, I agree with you. What I see across the board is that companies that are implementing Copilot, ChatGPT, and the AI are also implementing regulations and norms that can, normalize and officialize the use of these tools.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of SOPs, a lot of procedures that they want to have in place in order to ensure that the people can use those kind of tools in a frame context, in a framed
Mhm.
landscape, and not just as they want. So this aspect of the ethics, this aspect of the regulation is something that I saw as well. And so these are two phenomena that are going, in parallel in order to in order to keep the balance, but it comes down to people. So it is up to us. So I would say that we need to keep the balance first in order to ensure that these tools
Totally,
are,
totally.
are well
And I
utilized.
yes, and I definitely want to add something that I hear from managers and executives because as you know, I don't not only train assistants, I train chief of staffs, I train executives. And when I ask them about, what are the core skills you see in an assistant for the future, of course they come back with the digital competencies where AI belongs to. But every one of them keeps telling me the human skills. The human skills are so core.
Mhm.
My assistant is the door opener, the one with the most empathy in the apartment, the one who acts as a mentor, a coach, a mediator in terms of conflict management. Because right now, as you and I, we are still dealing with a lot of remote work. We are, talking projects over webcams, and we are handling sensitive things, and sometimes there are the conflicts, of course.
Yeah.
And being the assistant out there, supporting the leader in terms of solving these problems and, being a mediator. We have great trainings in Germany how to become a mediator. And that's wonderful to see that all of a sudden we have these new areas there where assistants can train new expertises that are not connected to technology because we still need these human touches, right?
Of course, I totally agree with you. One last topic that we mentioned and had a great success across the audience was the topic of the millennium managers that we touched deeply dive last time. How millennium managers behave, how we can adapt to the style of the millennium managers. So this topic was already explored in our former episode. But if we want to make a little connection, speaking again about millennium managers, because I'm sure that the audience is waiting for it. Do you see that now in the new trends, 2024 and beyond? Do we see more millennium managers in the workplace, or do we see that millennium managers are again more millennium using AI and using this technology? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. They're out there. They're out there. They take over high management positions.
Yeah,
We see this in companies all over the world. We just talked earlier about fashion industry, how the big fashion houses where the generations are taking over, totally different leadership style. And it's good to see, what opportunities they bring. And Marco, what's interesting the other day, which always opens, my eyes. I had a group of assistants in a workshop in a webinar, and as I always ask about the way they work, the way they operate, the way they support their managers, and I was asking, so who has access to the email inboxes? And out of the 30 people, just 4 people had access to the email inbox. And this is just such a different dynamic from what you've seen and I've seen,
yeah,
because being an assistant for me, almost 20 years, it was a must-have to have access to the inbox of the manager. But
yeah,
now when I talk to managers and when I talk to assistants who actually tell me, I'm not missing that because it keeps me too busy. I want to focus on other stuff. I don't want to sit in front of the inbox of my manager and monitor what comes in, every single day. So I don't feel that something is missing. Of course, we can talk about trust and, being open-minded and giving
yeah,
access
yeah,
to the assistant, at least to read it, maybe not to act with it. Because other assistants will probably say, oh my goodness, how can you be a proactive assistant if you don't have access to this inbox,
yeah,
right? And I was the same. I
yeah,
was the
yeah,
same all these years. But when I talk to the new generations and they tell me, no, I'm used for so many other things.
yeah.
My manager doesn't want to waste my time to sit in front of that inbox because we get so many tools that Copilot is handling inboxes, and we have so many other automation tools where my manager is much faster than handing it over to me. So they are doing it themselves. And I think it's majorly the new generation of managers as well.
Yeah, so let's say that the point is that they don't miss something. Something has changed, and now there has been a switch on the tasks and the things that they do because there is this topic of the utilization of the time that needs to be
Exactly.
kept. So thanks a lot for this debrief and for this recap of also millennial managers. I hope that
Sure.
will try.
It's one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So let's move forward because I have another question for you. I know that you were one of the panelists of Executive Live Global, the global event that is hosted globally by Lucy Brazier, and of course you were one of the panelists, and I wanted to catch up with you on what did you present and what are the takeaways that you would like to share with the audience.
Yes, I actually presented a new talk, which is called the Customer-Centric Assistant. I've been delivering this talk for a German customer, and I've been delivering this talk for a Canadian customer as well. And the feedbacks were really, really good because I want to remind assistants about customer centricity. Because in the skills of the future that are named by the World Economic Forum, there's customer service orientation named under the top 10 skills.
Yeah.
And it's one of the core skills we own as assistants. So we are such great leaders when it comes to customer orientation. But one mistake is sometimes done by assistants. They only focus on one customer, which is the boss, the manager, the executive. But that's tricky. Because I've lost quite some bosses in my career, which I never expected that this is going to happen. And I was totally focused on this gentleman. I've been doing everything to make this man successful. And all of a sudden, he was taken away from me. And here I was. Everyone in the company knew me because I was the assistant too, but this too was gone. So that's why I remind assistants that, focus on your clientele in general, because there are so many other clients we have, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, how to shape your brand. how to create a great service, how to create your value proposition, know your why, have your elevator pitch ready. Do the people know your strengths? Do the
Yeah.
people know your portfolio? What do you offer?
Yeah.
So it was really an eye-opening session to many assistants because they felt like it's true. I don't have a contract with my manager. I have a contract with the company. So I better get to know the company. I better get to know the values and the principles and the vision and the mission because I can help so much more rather than only focus on my single manager.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, where, and let's be honest, we see this more and more out there in companies. It's not only the one-on-one system anymore. One assistant, one manager. It's nearly there anymore. So
No.
you do have a lot of different clients all over the place. So how do you, reach out to them? How do you offer your service? How do you also take boundaries where you feel like, okay, that's not my cup of tea. So this was a very good discussion, and I love this new topic.
Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing. And I want to translate this concept because actually, what I feel is that is applicable transversally to all the roles out there across
True.
several and different industries. The
Yes.
commitment and the sense of commitment that we should have for our customers is definitely something that can make the difference in what we do on a daily basis. And the multiple faces of the customer
Mhm.
actually is what should keep us busy in order to ensure that we reach the level, the quality of service in order to address the needs that
Exactly.
the customer has. And we don't have anymore just one customer. We have different customers. Our team is an internal customer that we
Exactly.
deal with, right? So definitely agree with you, and I feel that this is can be applied transversely across different roles across different industries. So thanks a lot for
And
sharing.
absolutely. And this is why I always recommend whatever audience I talk to, always do an audit of your work. Go
Yeah.
through an audit process. Look at the way you work, the way you offer your service, the way maybe you want to change your service, the way you want to stop a service. The more you know about, what do I want to address? What impact do I want to have in my role? And this is why I'm a big fan of, taking a little audit of yourself and
Mhm.
really go through the way you work, go through the way you operate and set new strategies.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And a self-reflection of what we do is definitely something that can help to get feedback
Yes,
from others, but also to reflect on what we do and, adjust our trajectory and our way of doing as needed. Um,
true.
let's move forward because when thinking about the opportunity that we had to meet in person, I can remember, I can put to prove to myself that meeting in person is a matter of connection, is a matter of
Mhm.
interconnection, and of course, this is what makes the meeting in person something indispensable. If you really want to, to keep this human touch that you were mentioning before, can you share some tips and tricks you have for the people that now are working remotely, but also now that they need to come back to the office, maybe some tricks that can foster the relationship and the collaboration for the people that now are working remotely and from home?
Yes, first of all, I need to say I'm quite surprised to see major changes coming to a lot of companies and the big, big names out there like Amazon. Just
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, Amazon wants to people to return 5 days a week. Hello. But I don't get it. The big tech companies, they have been helping us to work remotely with their products, right? And we've seen this with Twitter. Back then it was Twitter. We've seen this with Apple. Tim Cook was one of the first ones who wanted to bring the people back after the pandemic. So when I teach people, I'm surprised to see how many say, I'm actually at the office. I'm not working anymore at home because they are bringing us back. So I think we rather need to talk about the fact, how do you adjust to the fact that we are all returning, that
Yeah.
we're all of a sudden together, that we are all of a sudden, seeing our colleagues and seeing our managers again. All of a sudden, we have to learn networking again. All of a sudden, we need to dress differently. We need to prepare ourselves differently. And I do see that there are people having challenges out there, and that not everyone is happy of going back to the office because they have a long commute and they prove they can work so brilliantly from home. So that's why I have a hard time understanding the argumentation why companies are bringing the people back. But still, of course, we still have a lot of remote workers. And for me, it was always a good, combination. I did say a lot to assistants, make sure you go to the office, not every single day, but make sure you make these connections. Like you said before, I have now the privilege that I have such a large network, and wherever I travel, if it's Italy or if it's somewhere else, I have people like you who are saying, of course, I'm here, Diana. When you're here, of course, we meet. So I would never miss such a connection, especially when I'm traveling. So it's wonderful, of course, to see how we all develop the remote workplace, and we've developed so many great, ways of working and tools, and everyone installed their systems at home. We have new routines, and that's wonderful. But still, especially for assistants, I always kept saying, at least once a week, you need to be seen at the office. People need to see your nose. They need to remember your name. They need to know who you are, what you do. And once again, you are not just the assistant to somebody, because you do
Yeah.
so much more. So remind them of your brand, remind them of, what you bring to the table. So I think this is still one of the toughest things we see working from home, that being able to really connect and have these sustainable connections, really deeper talks, like you and I, we had much deeper talks when we were sitting together in Milano, right, rather than having a conversation over the webcam. So there is a different level of connection, and especially, as you know, assistants needs to have this good alliance in the company. They need to have these strategic alliances in order to build their network and to
Yeah.
build the network for their managers.
Yeah.
So let's see what the future is bringing. So what do you observe maybe in your network from other companies or even your own company? So are they bringing the people back, or do you still see a lot of remote opportunities?
Yes, and so in the pharma industry, what I'm seeing is the big names on the pharma industry, they are keeping the people back to the office with
I
balance.
thought so.
They
Yes.
they say you are able to work from home 2 days per week or 3 days per week per day, are pretty much bringing the people to the office, because maybe there are some cost related topics, right? That of course, from a corporate perspective, they want to keep the office in one country and they want that the office is utilized. So maybe there is a cost perspective inside this topic, but also is in terms of visibility. I totally agree with you. I feel that from an admin point of view, but also for the people that are covering a role, the risk is to be invisible. If we are not
Yes.
in the same space where the executives or where the team is having a meeting, for example, and the risk to be invisible nowadays is something that in a way or in another can affect the work that we do. And this is something that, in my opinion, we should
Mm-hmm.
take for granted. And let's go to the office if we can a little bit more in order to establish such a kind of relationships as we did in June in Milano. But at the same time, the interconnections that the proximity can have, speaking
Mm-hmm.
human to human, is definitely an added value that a virtual meeting cannot have. So
Right.
the proximity and the possibility to meet someone in person entails a lot of things that we sometimes take for granted, but we should not. So this is
Totally agree. Mm-hmm.
this is what I see. So let's see how 2025 will be, but I feel that this is going to be the trend. So we will
Me
have.
too. Me too. I mean, I was a bit surprised to see the announcement around Amazon specifically, but from what I hear from my clients, it's happening already, and
Yeah.
some people are happy about it, and some people feel like, oh, we are moving backwards. Why? You know?
Yeah. So let's see how this is going to develop, and let's make sure that we stay consistent and stay true to ourselves first, in order to make sure that our connections matter. Um,
Yes. And you are always on my list when I'm in the Milano area. But
thanks.
sometimes it's not easy to catch you because you are somewhere on the fly.
Yeah, no, it's so incredible. I mean, still remembering the amazing moments that we spent together in Milan, Diana. So
Yes.
let's keep in touch, because of course we need
Of
to do
course.
a part two of our meeting. Now, in our last talk, I appreciated the way now you are developing some of the services, right? That you offer for your clients, and one of
Mhm.
them is coaching. The power of coaching and mentoring that we discovered, and we know that is very important for the people that want to master and to level up from a career perspective. Now you are a certified coach. You are coaching people. You are a mentor. Can you please give us an insight insight on what's the difference between
Mhm.
mentoring and coaching, and why is it so important nowadays, Diana?
Well, first of all, you make money with coaching and you don't make money with mentoring. So that's the finance
That's
part.
yes, the first thing to say. Right.
It's interesting to see, and I don't know if you have been discovering this yourself. Sometimes you are considered to be a mentor by people and you are not even aware of that. And
Mm-hmm.
this is just so fantastic because sometimes people call you out on social media and they say role model, mentor, so many different names, and descriptions. But by the things you do, although you don't talk to these people on a regular basis, but with the way you operate your work or the way you are seen on social media, the people feel attached to you and they, follow you for your advice. And it's funny because I'm the same, I do see people on social media. I do see these incredible icons out there where I feel that these are mentors to me, although I've never ever been talking to them because they are very, high level people that I would never reach out to. I would probably never get an opportunity to talk to. Speaking of Melinda Gates, speaking of Michelle Obama, right? They are not aware that I would call them a mentor because they are important for me in my own development.
Yeah.
But of course, we see great mentoring programs out there like IMA Germany. I have a strong connection to IMA, the association, because I've been a regional head. I've been an interim board member of IMA Germany. And for many years, we've been installing a mentoring program that has been running very well. Again, of course, no costs involved. So sometimes it kind of is like a little loose agreement in the mentoring. People come together more or less, and it's not that they work on this specific goal like you have in the coaching process, right? You have a defined project, you have a defined time frame, maybe. Like I'm coaching clients sometimes longer than a year. Sometimes it's just a 1 or 2 session. So it's all a little bit of a mixture. But I can strongly recommend for those people, especially who cannot afford a coach, to reach out to mentors because there are great organizations out there like Mentor Me. Maybe we can, put this in the link in the show notes because a lot of people won't have the opportunity to work with a coach. The company is not supporting it, and your financial aids are not there to do that. So mentoring can be a good starting point, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to be, of course, a common agreement, what the mentoring should consist of, because a mentor is not a coach, right? There are a lot of people out there mentoring who don't have a coach certification.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware what your expectations are, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for highlighting such a kind of things. And I agree with you. This is something that we see more than ever in these last years, especially with the virtualization and the possibility to coach and mentor people virtually. The numbers of mentors are higher than
Mhm.
before. And of course, we have companies with mentorship programs that develop in order to make sure that the mentee and the mentor can be matched. So this is a fantastic. And I agree overall that those tools are very important for people that want to level up and leverage their skills. So yeah.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, especially I want to, give a shout out to the wonderful coaches out there, not only me, but sometimes I hear people saying, "Oh, this is so expensive, the coaching hour," but we are trained and we give you really a lot of knowledge. Like
Yeah.
I did my strength certification this year, I learned a lot about positive psychology. I learned a lot about, strengthening your strength. So, coaches are way more prepared to go into work with you. And this
Yeah.
is why they deserve their fee, of course.
Yeah.
But again, there are great opportunities out there for mentoring like IMA Germany has for free if you are a member.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, wrapping up our amazing episode, Diana, and focusing on 2025, what is 2025 bringing to you? And do you have any projects or any idea in the air that you would like to share with the audience?
Coming back to Italy, number one.
Okay, noted, noted,
So take a note.
noted.
I don't have any concrete plans, but we definitely come back because we love it so much. So let's see if I come back to the Milano area. So of course, our digital nomad travels are continuing. We don't have any plans yet for the next year. Right now, I'm based in Germany, and we're going to go to Spain in a few weeks, and then we are heading over to our winter break, which is going to be in the Middle East. I have clients in Saudi Arabia. I've never been to this country. I would love to see this country. They have been inviting me to come over, so let's see if I make this happen to go to Saudi. And then once the winter's over, we are back in Europe, and then we're going to continue our travel. So the focus is on the digital nomad journey, of course. And as I said, I just, got my certification as a strength coach. So I continue to do a lot of strength coachings for, individual persons, for teams. I deliver workshops. It's a great new topic. I'm very happy to dive into this new field, and let's see what comes out of it. I'm running my fourth online virtual summit again this next year. So we are going into the fourth year. I have a lot of speakers secured already. So there will be an announcement coming pretty much soon. So we are working on that, and yeah, hopefully staying healthy and happy.
Yeah, yeah, no, I wish you all the best for all these projects, Diana. It's amazing to see how you are active and you are still empowered by the passion that that they drive you and drive the things that you do. Because ultimately, the passion is what drives things forward.
Absolutely.
And we have a
It's
lot
so
of
true.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks a lot for having shared your time with me, Diana. It has been amazing to meet you again virtually. Next time, who knows, in person. I count on that.
Exactly.
And keep in touch. Wishing you a nice weekend. All the best, and greetings from Italy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.